welcome to my channel. In today's video, I am very excited to share with all of you my initial impressions and swatches of Pat McGrath's mini lip products. So as you can see here, I have a lot of minis to go through. I have 4 of the packages of her mini lip products, so a total of 12 lip products to swatch today. So hopefully today's video is helpful for any of you who have been curious about her minis, and also if any of you are interested in the shades of these products, hopefully this gives you a good sense of how they look. So first, just to give you guys a quick run through of the different products I have today. So first off, I have here her mini lip Fetish lip balm trio, and I haven't tried her balm formula yet, so I'm really excited to see how this performs. And then I have 2 of her lip gloss mini packages. So this one is the Mini Cool collection, and this one over here is the Opulust collection. And I've been really loving her lip gloss formula. It's definitely one of, if not my overall favorite lip gloss formula. So I was really excited to pick up some more shades. And then finally, we have these mini Guilty Pleasures as part of her Celestial Divinity holiday line, and these are in the Mattetrance formula. So I'm going to swatch these from least long lasting to most long lasting, just so they're not too harsh on my lips. And so I'm going to start off with this little mini balm trio. Oh, interesting. So they actually come with a little stand as well. So, oh wow, there are sequins getting everywhere. So definitely be a little bit careful as you're opening up these packages, because you will definitely get sequins all over the place. So let me just try to remove these little guys with minimal sequins fallout. Alrighty, so I'm definitely gonna have to find some place to put all of these sequins because they're kind of all over my desk at the moment. But I did manage to extract the 3 little lip balms. So starting out with clear, I just wanted to first show you guys how this packaging looks. And I love that this has the famous Pat McGrath lips on them. And here are the 3 little balms next to each other. And I think this set has a really nice nude color story. Just for comparison, this is the mini next to one of her normal Luxe Trance lipsticks. And this is how it looks with the product out of the tube. So this is definitely way less luxe than your typical Pat McGrath lipstick. But of course, this is a mini, and I got these little mini trios for $12 to $14 each. So given that each of these only costs around $3 to $4, I think it's a reasonable quality difference, since these guys over here are like $38 full price. So here we have the lip balm swatched, starting on this side with clear, which is described as a clear, subtle sheen. And then in the middle, we have blow up, which is a wondrous warm beige. And then on the side, we have Flesh 3, which is a beautiful bronzed rose. So here is clear on the lips, and obviously there's no color associated with this, but it does just provide that nice hydrated sheen to the lips. And I feel like it's quite moisturizing and comfortable on the lips. And I did notice that this has a subtle vanilla scent to it. So next up we have Blow Up, and I think this is a really beautiful, just slightly tinted My Lips But Better kind of look. So I would say this is just ever so slightly peachier and more cool tone than my natural lip color. But I think this is a really perfect shade just on an everyday basis when you don't really want that much tint, but you want just a little bit of evening of your lip color and also some hydration. Like the other one, it does have that vanilla scent to it, and it's very comfortable on the lips. So the last shade in this trio is Flesh 3, and I really am very impressed with the level of pigmentation that I got from this product. So this really just feels like a lip balm on your lips. It's super comfortable, glides on super easily, but as you can see, this actually has a pretty hefty dose of pigmentation. And I feel like it looks a lot like just a very hydrating lipstick. So I'm a huge fan of that, because I love products that feel super comfortable but still give me that lipstick look. And so I'm really digging this. So that's it for these 3 little mini lip balms, and I am a huge fan of this. I am really excited that I got these, and I love how tiny they are. I think these are perfect to just toss in your purse and not have to worry about, because they're really light and also really inexpensive. But as you can tell, I think there's a good amount of versatility with this formula. You can have a totally clear balm, you can have one that basically just looks like your lips but better, Or you can have a shade like this that definitely is a bit deeper and a little bit more glam, but still really, really comfortable and just a nice lightweight sheer formula. So now let's dip into her lip glosses. So this is the Mini Lust Gloss in the Skin Show Cool Trio. So here are the mini lip glosses, and first off we have Divine Rose over here, and then in the middle we have Pale Fire Nectar, and then last we have Dare to Bear. So just to show you guys the comparison with the full size, so over here I have my Secret Lover Lust lip gloss, and over here is the Divine Rose. So here we have the three glosses swatched, starting with Divine Rose, which is described as Ultimate Plum Rose with Reflective Pearl. And this is definitely the most pigmented of the three. Then over here we have Pale Fire Nectar, which is a coral dual chrome with pink pearl. And then finally we have Dare to Bear, which is a peach nude with gold pearl. And you can see these two over here look a little bit more like a glitter topper, so you can definitely layer them over, say, a lip liner or a matte lipstick, or just wear them on their own if you want your natural lip color to still peek through. So first off, here is Divine Rose. And you guys know how much I love all of the Divine Rose eyeshadow palettes, so I'm really excited to pair this with some of those. And you can see this is a very shiny gloss on the lips, but you can't really tell that there are glitter particles in it. It's a really beautiful, cool toned, kind of mauvey, plummy rose shade. And in case you guys are curious about the swatch comparisons, this is Secret Lover over here next to Divine Rose. And I would say it's just ever so slightly more plummy in comparison to Divine Rose, which is a bit more pink. And also Divine Rose is in the shimmer formula, whereas Secret Lover is in the high gloss formula. So it has just slightly finer shimmer in it. Next we have Pale Fire Nectar. So this is in her glitter finish. And so you can definitely see there are much more intense glitter particles here. And this one does have a dual chrome effect to it. So this is really fun and really beautiful, especially if you just have a really glittery look where you're using some of her Blitz Astral formulas and glitter toppers. And I'm really excited about this shade because I think Pat McGrath's glitter formulas are just so unique and they don't feel at all chunky on the lips. I've tried some glitter lip glosses where after they dry down, it kind of feels like you have sand or plastic on your lips. These feel incredibly, incredibly comfortable, even though they have really high impact glitter finishes. And I would say that this shade could go with a lot of different looks. I think the base pigment has a little bit of kind of coral pink orange to it, and so it lends itself to warmer tone looks, but you also have that kind of bluish purpley flip to the glitter, and so I think you could also pair this with some cooler toned looks. And the shade reminded me a little bit of Astral Flashdance, which I have swatched here. So in case you guys are curious, Astral Flashdance has much more of a purpley base pigment to it, but I would say the glitter is somewhat similar, with Astral Flashdance maybe being just a little bit more bluish in the flip of the glitter, whereas Pale Fire Nectar has maybe a slightly more purpley orange tone to it. So last off we have Dare to Bear, which is like Divine Rose in her shimmer formula, and I think that formula is perfect on days when you want some pigmentation but not a ton of pigmentation, but you do want a lot of shine on your lips and you kind of want them to look just a lot plumper than they typically look. And I think this shade in particular is great on days when you just want your lips to look a bit more enhanced. So you can definitely tell there's product on my lips, but I think the color of it makes it look much more muted and natural. So I think this is a really great way to pull off a shimmery lip gloss on an everyday basis, really for any sort of occasion. Alrighty, so now for the really glittery part of this try on. So here are the three Opulust lip glosses, and we first have Lavendaring on this side, followed by Dreamscape in the middle and Naked Rose on the other side. So here are the three swatches, Lavendaring, Dreamscape, and Naked Rose. And you can see that these are a lot more pigmented and opaque in comparison to the other lip gloss formulas from Pat McGrath. So here we have Lavendaring on the lips. So as you can tell, my lips look very metallic right now. So this is a really intense shine. Like this definitely will give you those intergalactic alien vibes. I'm pretty excited though. This is a look I normally don't go for, but I mean, this is why we have minis, right? This is perfect for days where I really want to step out of my comfort zone. I wasn't able to find an official shade description for this, but according to Temptalia, this is a muted silvery lavender with subtle, cool undertones and flecks of lavender, pink, and gold shimmer, and sparkle paired with a high shine glossy finish. And I would definitely agree with that. I think you can very clearly see the lavender, the silver, and also the pink on my lips. And this will really give you a very high shine look. Next up, we have Dreamscape, which Temptalia describes as a warm-toned light brown with sparkle finish. So this one is definitely a little bit more subtle and subdued compared to the other one. Still very, very high shine, but this color story is definitely something you can pair with slightly more everyday bronzy looks. One thing I did want to quickly note is that these Opulusts have a very different flavor and smell to them in comparison to her other lip glosses. So most of her lip glosses have a pretty subtle birthday cake taste and smell to them, but I would say these Opulusts kind of have a much more intense smell and taste to them. It's still in that general birthday cake category, maybe ever so slightly more floral, but it's definitely much more noticeable in comparison to her normal lip glosses. So the last shade in this Opulust trio is this Naked Rose shade. And this is described by Temptalia as a very warm toned, medium dark pink with sparkle finish. I think this would be really fun if you wanted to do a really metallic rose gold or pink look. I also did just want to do some quick swatch comparisons. So first, next to Dreamscape, we have Bronze Divinity, which is in her shimmer lip gloss formula, and is definitely a bit more bronzy and rose in comparison to Dreamscape, which has much more of a yellow gold to it. And then next to Naked Rose, I have her Mattetrance formula in Skin Flicks, and this is both a lot less shimmery in finish and also a little bit more pinky in shade. I will say though, on the lips, these are somewhat similar colors. So if you want something that's a little bit more subdued, definitely check out her Mattetrance lipsticks or her normal lip gloss line. So with all of the glosses and balms out of the way, now let's dip into this Mattetrance trio. So here are the 3 little mini Guilty Pleasures lipsticks. So I definitely say these are probably the cheapest looking in terms of packaging. They look much more like toy lipsticks for kids rather than normal lipsticks, but they are super cute at the same time. So they say Pat McGrath on one side and then have this front side with the design that's similar to the designs that came out in her Celestial Divinity line. And here we have the 3 little mini lipsticks. So over here we have Executive Realness, and then in the center we have Elson 2, and then on this side we have Soft Core. And just to show you guys a comparison with her full-size lipsticks, I have Venus and Furs here next to Soft Core. So I'm really excited about these minis because Pat McGrath's Mattetrance formula is one of the few matte formulas that I actually enjoy. I think that it's really unique in that most matte lipsticks sort of emphasize the lines in your lips, but I find with her formula, it somehow actually manages to sort of fill in the lines. So it's definitely not hydrating by any means. It'll still be kind of drying by the end of the day. But in terms of the appearance, your lips aren't gonna look really desiccated and you're not gonna have all of those lines associated with matte lipsticks. Since I don't wear matte lipsticks that often, I think having them in these really tiny little lipstick bullets will be perfect. So here are the 3 shades swatched. So first we have Soft Core, which is described as a cool pink. And then we have Elson 2, which is described as the perfect red. And then finally we have Executive Realness, which is described as a mulberry pink. So first off, this is Soft Core on the lips. And it's definitely a little bit too cool toned, I would say, for my general preferences. I'm really glad I have this in a mini size because if I'm going for a really cool pink look, I think this would be perfect. But on a general basis, I would say this kind of cool pink is not the most flattering on my skin tone personally, just because I do have a warmer complexion. And if you haven't tried Pat McGrath's Mattetrance formula before, the texture is a little bit silicone and powdery, kind of like the Lisa Eldridge Velvet lipsticks. And I think that's how it manages to kind of sit on your lips while looking matte without drying them out. I would say overall, in terms of my own matte lipstick collection, Charlotte Tilbury's Matte Revolution formula is probably the most comfortable matte I have, but I find that her matte formula doesn't really deliver a truly matte finish. There's still a little bit of a satin sheen to it. Pat McGrath's is actually fully matte, and so it's a little bit less comfortable, but definitely will give you that matte finish. Next, we have Elson 2, which is truly a very vibrant red color. So I think on days if you really want your lips to pop and you just want a very simple look but with a bright red lip, this sort of shade would be perfect. I did want to mention that I don't have any lip liner on today under any of these looks, so this is just what the lipstick looks like by itself. But for a shade like this in particular, I think pairing it with a red lip liner just to make sure that the outline is really crisp. I don't personally wear lipsticks like this very often, but I'm excited to have this in my collection because I think we could all use that occasional really bold red lipstick. I think this is also a pretty versatile red. I keep looking at it and trying to figure out if this is more orange toned or more blue toned. And I don't know, I feel like I keep going back and forth. So definitely let me know down below if you guys see this as more warm toned or cool toned. For me, I think this kind of straddles the edge. So I feel like this would probably work for a pretty wide variety of skin tones. Also, in case you guys are curious about swatch comparisons, currently, the only Mattetrance formula I have in my collection is Venus in Furs. So that's over here next to Soft Core. And I would say that Venus in Furs is definitely a bit more mauvey and almost brownish in tone in comparison to these three. So last off, we have Executive Realness. And for me, I was kind of surprised how purpley fuchsia this comes across on my lips. I would say for both this and Elson 2, there's a certain brightness in the shade, such that it does really get your attention, even though you might not be able to tell that just by looking at the color by itself. I think in general, these three shades do run a little bit cool on me, which is part of why they really pop on my skin tone. So if you are of a similar complexion to me, just note that these aren't gonna look very muted on your skin tone. They will kind of stand out in the look. But for me personally, I do think that's a good thing given that these are minis. So on a daily basis, I would probably wear a more muted shade like Venus in Furs. But on days when I do want my lips to pop, I think picking up one of these little minis would be perfect. So that's it for these Pat McGrath mini lip swatches. I hope this was helpful for any of you who have been curious about her minis. I think this is a really great way to very affordably try out the Pat McGrath formula and also experiment with different formulas and shades that you might not use that often on an everyday basis. I think a lot of these trios are still on her website for sale right now, around $12 to $14. So I think this is a really great way to affordably expand your collection, or if you need to get free shipping, you can just add a few more minis to your basket. And overall, I've been really pleased with the ones that I've tried out today. I would guess that I'm going to get the most usage out of these mini lip balms, especially the two tinted ones. I think will very quickly enter my everyday work rotation. I'm really impressed with just how pigmented these are, given that they just feel like a normal lip balm on the lips. I think I'll also get decent use out of this little mini cool trio. So I already know that I really love the Secret Lover lip gloss. So given how similar Divine Rose is to that, I think I'll get good use out of this. And also I'm really excited to see how this looks with my Divine Rose eyeshadows. This Dare to Bear seems like a really perfect everyday lip gloss. So I think I'll also incorporate this on days when I'm just going to work. I would put Pale Fire Nectar in the same category as the Opulists as a shade that I probably won't go for on an everyday basis, but will be really great when I'm doing a more dramatic look. I think this shade in particular would go really well with VR Pink from my Subversive palette, or with the Rose Gold shade from Bronze Seduction, topped with VR Fire Opal. My guess is that I probably won't use these Opulists a ton, but I'm super excited to have these in my collection in mini form because I think these are so fun and just so special. I really have nothing in my collection right now that is remotely as glittery and metallic and pigmented as these lip glosses are. And so I think this is just so perfect if you really want to go all out and do a really intense look. And so I'm super excited to play around with these, and I feel like building some eyeshadow looks around these lip glosses will be a ton of fun and really spark some more creativity. Last, we have these little Guilty Pleasures Mattetrance lipsticks, and I think these will be a great way to just really expand my matte lipstick collection without having to invest a lot in additional full-size tubes. I don't wear matte lipstick very often, but I do like having them on hand, both for days when I really need my lipstick to last, and also on days when I just want my lips to be really matte in comparison to my eyes or my cheeks. So I'm looking forward to playing around with these shades, and especially Elson 2 I think will be a valuable addition to my collection because I pretty rarely wear a full-blown red lip. So that's it for today's video. If you guys like this video, then please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. If you guys have tried Pat McGrath's minis, I would love to hear what you guys think. And also if you guys have a favorite shade or formula from her lip range, I would be really interested in that as well. Because recently I've been basically expanding my Pat McGrath lip collection pretty much every time she has a sale. So I would love to hear what products you guys have been loving. So thanks again so much for joining me today, and I'll catch you next time. Bye!